Alrighty. This is the 70th episode of the Runnin My Mouth podcast. I am your just so busy host, Aaron, and allow me to run in my mouth for a little bit. I've been going places and doing things these last couple of weeks, and we will talk about it all. But quick housekeeping before I begin. So this episode is going out on the 29th, which means 29th of April, which means that the next episode would be going out the 13th of May. However, the weekend that I would be recording that next episode, I will be traveling to my cousin's graduation, so I will not be able to record that week. So the next episode of the pod is going to be a week delayed. You know, it'll be fine, I promise. And this one will probably be long enough to tide you over until then, because believe me, I've got a lot to talk about. So yeah, I mean, let's just start in order of when they happened. So on April 15th, I believe that was it April 15th? Yes, because it was tax day. I remember. On tax day, I had my little gallery opening, and, you know, it was really nice. It was, currently still is, if you would like to go see. I did forget the name of the exhibit. I'm going to tell you. Give me 1 second. It feels like it's been 11 years since then, just because, I don't know, I feel like so much has happened. But uno momento, I will get you the name of the gallery in just a second. In a second. It is called Documenting the Underground South Mississippi Alternative in the library at Millsaps College. I think it's a college, not a university. Millsaps College, at the Millsaps Wilson Library in the Riggs room. It's kind of the room off to the side from when you first walk in. And something that I didn't know about this particular exhibit is that it kind of came together last minute. So they had, according to, I forgot the man's name and his position at the library, but he's the one, I'm assuming, that puts all this kind of stuff together. Not Frankie, who I talked to about, actually getting my stuff in the exhibit, but Frankie's boss, I guess. They had some kind of other exhibit that was supposed to be in the library, but it fell apart in the previous week. So basically Frankie pulled it all together in not that much time, and it was honestly so great. There were, of course, my pictures. There were Andy, that is his name, his pictures. Indole / Jesse, he had some of his pictures in there, and a few other photographers who I weren't super aware of, because I think one of them was based out of Hattiesburg, and the other one might have also been based out of Hattiesburg. There are also a bunch of show flyers, and the funny thing about it is that 90% of the flyers that were in there were made by, of course, my good Judy Lucy, who honestly, her flyers are really immediately identifiable. She does have a style. You can tell oh, this flyer was made by Lucy, and a lot of them were in there. And I tried to find a few shows that I went to, but even though there were a bunch of flyers in there, a lot of those shows I hadn't even gone to, which would make sense, because I think some of them were kind of before my time going to shows here in Jackson, but a lot of them weren't, and some of them I do remember going to. And then, of course, there was me. I was there with all of my coworkers. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it feels honestly really good to be in a gallery. Yeah, to just, see my work printed out and looking at it and having other people look at it. That's really cool. And I want to do more stuff like that, honestly. If I could get one of my pictures printed large format, because what I ended up doing is I take all of my pictures in 1:1 aspect ratio. I don't know why I ended up deciding to do that. I just did, and I just do. And Frankie said they had some 8x10 frames, and it's okay, well, how am I going to get a square fit an 8x10. I don't really want to crop it. So I was like, okay, I'll make them look like Polaroids. And so I did. I fit them in, a little 8x10 size and got them printed out at CVS. Shout out CVS. I got a huge discount, by the way. I think it was because, I made like a little account, but I got I want to say like a 25% discount on those pictures. I mean, it wasn't really that expensive to get them printed out. I had 5 plus a little blurb about myself that I had printed, so it wasn't, too much, but still. And they were really good quality too. Honestly, it is kind of interesting because I don't really see my pictures in that size. Because even though they're 4,000 by 4,000, I only ever see them either on my computer screen when I'm editing them, which is, I have 2 21-inch monitors, but if you look at Photoshop, it's not blued up the whole way, or on my phone, which is, phone sized. So it's to actually see them kind of big. It's really cool. I don't know how many times I can say it's cool, but it is cool. If you would like to see mine and others' work printed out for your viewing pleasure, I will give you the details on how to do such a thing. So let's see. The gallery is open from the 15th of April, which is, already happened as we've established, to July 1st. So you have a few months to be able to see it. However, given that this is Millsaps, their school, and their hours change on the 28th. So after this episode has come out, their hours will have changed. So after April 28th, which will be the previous day from when this comes out, you can see mine and others' work, as well as some other stuff. There's a denim jacket and a few different t-shirts from bands that have come through. Actually, there was a Cheap City shirt in there in white. And I want to say there was a Yahoo shirt. There was that band from Japan that came through a few months ago. I'm trying to remember what else. There was a pair of docks, customized docks in there. There was a tape and a tape player. And of course, all of the flyers and stuff. So after April 28th, which is now, as you're listening to this, Monday to Friday, you can visit from 10 to 3. And on wait, what? Okay, I said that wrong. Monday to Thursday, 10 to 3. And then on Friday from 10 to 2. So kind of pretty much only midday. But yeah, that was super cool to have happen. And I love that. Where is my pen? My desk is kind of in disarray for a reason that I will tell you in a second. For multiple. Also, my desk is kind of always in disarray. You can't see it, and I'm not going to show it because I would like to maintain my dignity. But I just have a lot of things on my desk, and my desk is not particularly big, especially when you have 2 monitors and a full-size keyboard on it. So it's yeah, my desk is, in fact, in disarray. Do I want to talk about this? Honestly, yes, I will talk about it. So one of my coworkers is an actor, and actually was a real deal SAG actor, but they gave up their SAG card to work where I work, which I thought was really interesting. But they still do local theater, so it's cool. I've gotten offers, well, not just me, but all of my coworkers have gotten offers to see shows at New Stage Theater, and for whatever reason, I just never took them up on it. But I was you know what? Why not? I'll go to the theater. And the play that was playing, that's not the terminology, but the play that was on, which I think is currently still on, if I recall correctly, New Stage Theater. Let me see, shows. Season 61, is that it? No. Okay, never mind. What? Hold on. What's currently what's playing? Is it? Oh, it might be over actually. Now I think about it, because that's May. This new one is May 1st, and then this other one is May 26th. So I don't think it's currently still playing. But New Stage Theater went to see the original Original play. Oh my God, what was it called? Hold on. Let me see. The Italic County Garden Club. And okay, I guess they took the page down. Um, hmm. Well, it was written by a playwright from Mississippi. Where in Mississippi? I can't remember. Actually, I think, where's Italic County? Well, the play is set in Kosciuszko, right? And I think that's where I think Kosciuszko is in Italic County. I can look this up. Italic County. Oh, Topher Payne. Hold on, go back. I literally just saw it. Italic. Oh my God. Italic County Garden. There we go. Yeah. The guy's name is Topher Payne. And I guess this was originally written last year. Well, I don't know where Google is getting this information from. It says originally published September 11th, 2024, which is not last year, by the way. It's 2 years ago. I don't know, but basically it's about this girl. She moves back to her hometown from Tuscaloosa of Kosciuszko. You know, she's got a baby. Her man ran off on her, and, you know, she's reconnected with, I'm assuming one of her high school friends. I don't know if they ever explicitly say it, but I'm pretty sure it's one of her high school friends. It's the 80s, by the way, so there's a lot of that going on. And she is recruited by one of the old biddies well, actually, she's not old. She's like middle-aged, maybe. Actually, I don't know. One of the biddies in town to be part of the garden club, and spoiler alert, they're all witches and they're doing witchcraft. And honestly, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There was some comedy in there, and there were also some heartfelt moments in the second act. And it doesn't say when this was written, so I don't even know if it was 2024 or not, but according to my actor coworker, they were like actively rewriting it as they were rehearsing it, which I have learned. I never really got big into theater because that just wasn't really a thing growing up for us. I mean, we did plays like in elementary school, but our plays in elementary school was basically everyone's given a line, and there's like 3 microphones set up on stage, and everyone lines up behind the microphone and they give their line, and that's kind of it. And maybe you like sing, and that's it. There's like, you know, actually I am lying. Okay, so obviously we studied plays, like we did Shakespeare. And I remember we had to get, when I was in the 9th grade, we had to get the like translated edition of Romeo and Juliet. And for whatever reason, I had a different version than everybody else. And my version was like, for whatever reason, like slightly more raunchy than everybody else's version. And everybody wanted to read my version. And then of course we did, I want to say Macbeth in AP English. And then we read Fences by August Wilson when I was in the 10th grade, I want to say, which I did really end up enjoying because that was around the time the movie came out with Viola Davis and what's his name? Oh my God, you know who I'm talking about. Viola Davis. She's the only one that really matters in this scenario. And me and my mom went and saw it. That was like that summer after that school year. Yeah. So I had a lot of experience reading plays, but never actually, but there is no drama club at my high school. Like we were an underfunded, like failing school. There was no drama club. All right. You know, we barely had a robotics team that I was a part of. And that was pretty much it. We had a chess club, but like I wasn't really into chess. So it's like, I wasn't getting into that. But yeah, we kind of really didn't have clubs like that unless it was a sport or you did something outside of school. Yeah, that's that small town underfunded public school type beat, you know? But even if we did have theater, I don't even know if I would have wanted to do it because I don't know. Anyway, but as I've learned, as I've gotten older and I watch Wait in the Wings, those videos about like the production history of various plays, famous and non-famous, I've learned that that is something that kind of happens. Also, that does kind of happen in film as well. There will be instances where, you'll get to set and then they will like rewrite stuff, kind of. So that's not exactly foreign to my world. But apparently, there's like whole sections being taken out, which again, not that different to film. So I don't even know why I frame that as like a completely foreign concept, because it's not really. But anyways, apparently there's some changes like made to the script, especially the second act. Because the first act I thought was really well done, and then the second act, it did kind of maybe have like a pacing issue. But aside from that, I really enjoyed it, and I was like, you know what? I want to go to the theater more. And it's so funny because New Stage Theater is like, what, 2 streets over from me? So it wouldn't be hard for me to do that, and they have plays going on. So, yeah, I want to go to the theater. I want to go to, maybe not the opera. I don't know if I would enjoy opera, but the orchestra, the ballet, Thalia Hall is back open. I don't know if all the mold is gone, but I hope so. We did do ballets when I was in school. We went to Montgomery. I forgot what it's called in Montgomery, but it's probably the Montgomery Ballet, if I had to guess. With my dance class that I had in school, we did a couple of field trips to like the Nutcracker and maybe another one that I'm forgetting. It wasn't Swan Lake, because I feel like if it was Swan Lake, then I would have enjoyed it. But definitely the Nutcracker. And I was like, oh man, that's cool. And also we did have a symphony come to our school once when I was in middle school. So I did have a few like cool, high culture, quote unquote, experiences when I was in school, but never like actually participating in them, just watching. So, and also I feel like most of those took place when I was in middle school and not high school. Anyway, that was the theater. I want to go to more shows at the theater. It was a lot of fun. I will say this though. Number one, it was packed, which I thought was really cool. I will say the age group skewed a little bit older. I don't know if there were a lot of people my age going to the theater, and maybe we need to change that. I don't know how much the tickets were because they were given to me for free. So shout out to my coworker for that. But I can't imagine they would be that expensive, So I don't know. I feel like us Gen Zs need to go to the theater more. It's not going to be Wicked or Hamilton, but it'll be something. It might even be an original story made by someone from Mississippi, which in my opinion is always great. So yeah, that was me going to the theater. And then after that, I have these written down. I don't know if these are actually in order of when they happen. I have to look at my calendar. Because I was trying to... Okay, yes, they are. So... one of the big things for me anyways, that happened these past couple of weeks was, of course, Couchfest 5, and I already have my pictures from Couchfest up on my Instagram, which you should be following me at Jackson Underground. And it was a lot of fun. Last year, I didn't stay the whole time. This year, I also wasn't there for the whole time. But last year, I felt like I was just more focused on, like, doing booth stuff. And this year, I actually got to, just experience the fest as a fest experiencer. So that was a lot of fun. And all the bands that I saw were great. There was a technical difficulty with one of the bands, the bassist. I can't remember which one, so I'm not even going to try to look. The bassist, like, broke their strap, and they had to, like, find someone else who had a bass and then try to fix the strap. And then that didn't really work. So, but, yeah, aside from that, which truly minor blip, it honestly was so much fun. I actually ate food this time because I didn't last time. I got the lawn dog. It was a little Polish sausage dog with like a special sauce and like tomatoes on it. It was really good. I have to say, I do unironically like a hot dog or a Polish sausage or a beer brat. I love meat in a tube on a bun with sauce. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I really am not. I feel like I haven't had a Polish sausage in like a really long time though, because the only time I like really had them was when my brother was doing baseball, and for whatever reason, my mom was always roped into doing the concession stand, which by extension meant I was also roped into doing the concession stand. And my mom and one of her friends who also had a son that was on the baseball team would like grill hot dogs and hamburgers and Polish sausages and sell them at the ballpark. I want to say good times, but honestly, no. I kind of hate baseball. So, I think that was the last time I had one, though. So, if you've never had a Polish sausage before, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure they are different from just like a kielbasa, which that is a Polish sausage, but it's not Polish sausage. There's a difference. There is a difference. And I didn't get a whole lot of stuff like I did last time. A whole lot of trinkets. I did get a lot of trinkets last year at Couchfest, but this year I was like, I'm literally traveling out of town the next day. I need to save my coins. But I did get a few things, and one of those was this year's shirt. Unfortunately, they didn't have any in my size, so I had to get a big one. But I will say, last year's shirts were really good. The design was great. But this year's shirts, I wish I had it. It's literally in the dryer right now, which I need to restart, but I'm going to do that after I finish recording. But they are just, I don't know what brand t-shirt this is, but it is just so soft, so buttery smooth. And like this one that I'm wearing is probably like a Gildan. This is another band shirt. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tell. I'm really not. What does that say? Oh, this actually isn't a Gildan. I don't know what this is, but it's not a Gildan, actually. I remember that when I bought this. But I feel like there are, some shirts that are just like really just stiff and kind of scratchy and not super pleasant to wear. I have my Death Throes from a Star shirt that I really love because it's also really soft and really buttery and just great. And I love wearing it because of that. I'm trying to think of another band shirt that I have that has like an actual really nice quality like shirt, and I'm struggling because I think they are mostly all that, same kind of scratchy, stiff, maybe cotton, probably not actually, type of material. And I do understand that these nicer, higher quality shirts probably do cost more. So like, I get that maybe it wouldn't be super feasible, as an upstart band to have, a shirt of that quality, but it really does make a difference because then I actually want to wear it. I want to wear it and I want to feel it on my skin, It was a really great quality shirt. And yeah, like last year, front and back print. On the front, it had a big CF5 logo, and then on the back, it had all the bands and vendors again. So yeah, and it was gray. I think they had a gray version and like an off-white version, whereas last year it was a black and an off-white version. Yeah, so that's what I got. Plus, I got a pin. Here we go. It's right here. This is the logo that I'm talking about that's on the front of the shirt. This is also really nice. And something that I am most happy about is that I got a CD. It's Party Wave by Surfwax, who I did not see because they played on Friday and I only went on Saturday. But yeah, I did really like this album. And they took it off of streaming. However, from the back here, this is kind of like a compilation. It's not really an album. There's like 2 unreleased tracks, but the rest of these are various singles, an EP from 2022 and an EP from 2019. So I'm sure if you found these various songs, you could recompile them, but I do really like this album by Surfwax, Party Wave, and now I have it in CD form, and no one can take it from me. So there you go. Also, another thing about Couchfest is that I was really worried that it was gonna rain, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be out in the rain, just existing in the rain. But the good thing is, it did end up raining, but it was only sprinkling like a little bit. It didn't rain that much at all. It was great. Obviously, not super great because, I don't know if you knew this, but we've kind of been in a drought recently. There's literally wildfires happening in Georgia and Florida. Which Georgia, okay, but Florida, it's kind of crazy to think about wildfires happening in Florida. But there are currently wildfires happening in Florida, and we do kind of need the rain. However, it did rain last night, here anyways. Quite hard. In fact, I think it might have knocked out the street light in my parking lot again because I woke up in the middle of the night at 4 o'clock, so sort of morning, but also still dark. And I was like, man, my bedroom is like so dark in here. Like I could see the little teeny tiny light from my fan reflected on the ceiling. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I finally realized, like, oh, the light outside is out. And I peek outside and sure enough, it's out. And I was like, well, the power's not out because my clock is still on. And obviously my fan is still on. And the rest of the street lights are on. So like, what the heck? You know? So anyways, that might have to be replaced again. This will be the second time that it's been replaced since I've lived here. And also, I don't know, maybe because when I first moved in, there's a little street light outside and it was fine. It was kind of whatever. It illuminated, but not too much. And then it went out and then they replaced it with one that was so bright that I had to get blackout curtains for my room, which I didn't have to have before. But now there's no light. And so is the next one going to be even brighter? Am I going to have to just put tinfoil on my window like I'm a tweaker? Like, what's going on? You know? Anyways, it's currently 7:42. It's Saturday, by the way. I don't even know if I mentioned that. It's Saturday because there's a show tomorrow that I would like to go to. So I'm recording this on a Saturday. And it is kind of dark outside, but I don't think the street light has come on yet. So I don't know if it will come on. It did make it a lot better for sleeping. I really do need like complete darkness to sleep. And also complete silence, but I've been sleeping with like the TV on for the past like year and a half for reasons I won't get into at this juncture, but it's not something that I often did up until a year and a half ago. Anyways, was I talking about Couch Fest? Yes. It was really fun. Didn't rain too bad. I got some great pictures and I did some interviews while I was there. I haven't listened to them yet, but I will listen to them soonish. So that I can write my little write-up about Couch Fest for my website. Also, something that was happening, which I can't remember if I ever talked about this. I don't know if I did, but Isaac of the Akashic 45s and now newly Too Darn Loud and Jacktown Rundowns and also Hit Guitars and like a lot. He does a lot, okay? He is, or well, he still is, because I mean it hasn't come out yet, making a documentary about Couch Fest, about presumably the before and the during and the after of it, and I was interviewed for it, which I thought was really cool. If I end up in that documentary, honestly, that'll be pretty dope. That will be pretty dope. But I also did get an opportunity to interview him as well as a few other people about the fest, and I will include that in an upcoming article for jacksonunderground.com. Speaking of things coming up for jacksonunderground.com, of course, I have talked about this already, but we are coming closer to me actually conducting my interview with Burning Windsor, and I am very excited about it, and I'm hoping it turns out well because that will be definitely a big deal for me. So, yeah, I mean, what else is there to say about Couch Fest? It was fun. Thankfully, the parking situation wasn't too bad, so I did get to, park nearby. I will say this, and there was a person who was at Couch Fest who was screaming pretty much nonstop from 3 o'clock until the festival was over at like 9:45. And I found it odd. I don't think it was the only one. Anywho, that was Couch Fest, and Couch Fest was fun, and I am very ready for next year. Maybe even I'll, I don't know. I don't know if I'll table next year. Well, I guess that depends on if they ask me. But would I be prepared to, is the real question. I think the answer is probably no. I think the answer is no. So yeah, after Couch Fest, literally the next day, I moseyed on down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to see my goats, animals as leaders. I will say, this is my first time in Baton Rouge. I was staying downtown. My hotel room had the smallest window I've ever had in a hotel room. It was honestly kind of comical, but I was like right next to the Mississippi River. So it's like, can I complain? Yes. Yes, I can. Because there were normal size windows on this building. I just got a room with a teeny tiny little skinny window. And it was honestly low-key kind of funny. So, honestly, I feel like most hotel rooms for me are kind of the same. I don't think there's ever really been a hotel. Well, okay, I'm lying. I'm big lying. When I stayed at the LaSalle in Chicago, that was a nice hotel room. Every other hotel room that I've been in, literally identical. I think the big difference here is that I didn't pay for that hotel room. So, of course it was going to be a little bit nice, but, my hotel room was sufficient. It's also freezing cold in there, which I love because I, of course, needed to be freezing cold. And honestly, I will run up the hotel's electricity bill, keeping it on 67. I would not do that here because, number one, it would be far too cold to be comfortable in here. But also, I don't want to run up my electricity bill. So why would I do that? But yes, I will gladly run up someone else's electricity and water because I can. It's the hospitality industry. You're supposed to let me, I think. Anywho, like I said, never been to Baton Rouge before. It's a nice little city. I will say I did find it really interesting. Maybe it was because I was there on a Sunday. That could have something to do with it. But I drove down there and I turned onto a street to get downtown, and there's just nobody around. There are no cars, there are no people. I mean, there are cars, they're parked, not driving. There's no people. And I found that really odd. Because I don't know, maybe it's a Jackson downtown situation, but there's still, I feel more going on in downtown Baton Rouge than downtown Jackson, because for the most part, downtown Jackson is just government buildings and official offices and maybe 3 restaurants and maybe, there is a hotel. There's King Edward, which I think is a hotel. I know it's apartments. There's a couple of apartments too, but I don't know. I found it kind of odd. I mean, it was great because there's no traffic and, it didn't fluster me because of the traffic, but there's no people. What? Anyway, and yeah, so I went to Chelsea's Live in Baton Rouge, and I'm trying to remember how many people were there. I would say it's a pretty decent crowd size, I don't think the show sold out, but it was still, I would say, a lot of people. Another observation I made, which is kind of a silent observation that I make in pretty much everywhere I go, but mostly at shows. But I feel and I could be wrong, I was staying in the front, and I'm also less than 5 feet tall, so it's kind of hard to see people. But I feel I saw maybe 2 other Black people there, which is interesting considering this is, the Jonathan Scales Fourchestra and Animals as Leaders. I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know. But yeah, I noticed that and I was like, oh, what's the vibe in Baton Rouge? I've never been down here before. What's going on? I don't really know if it's like that, but you can't help but notice sometimes. Well, I can't help but notice sometimes because I'm me. So, and I am in my specific human configuration. So it's kind of hard not to notice when you're the only person that looks like you in a big group of people. That doesn't necessarily mean I was in enemy territory, but it is noticeable. And sometimes I feel I stick out because of that. And that has been a feeling that I've had pretty much the entire time I've gone to shows, with the exception of literally seeing Animals as Leaders and Jonathan Scales Fourchestra on Juneteenth. That's the only time that it didn't really stick out to me like that. But every other time, honestly, yeah. And it does, it really does make a difference. Maybe not make a difference. That's not what I'm trying to say. It sticks out to me in my mind, is all I'm trying to say. But anyways, what can I say about the Jonathan Scales Fourchestra that I haven't already said? I thankfully was able to, get there in enough time where I was able to get up to the barrier, and I parked myself right in front of them steel pans. Like, yeah, I was gonna do that. And so this show started, I want to say at like 8 o'clock, which I mean, it was kind of fine because there's only two bands on the bill, and they both did kind of shorter sets, I feel like, in my opinion. And so, the Johnson Scales Orchestra didn't really play for that long. I think the Johnson Scales Orchestra only played for maybe 30 minutes. And I got another I won't say it's bizarre. I don't think it's bizarre. It didn't feel bizarre to me. I'll say that much. But I did all kind of almost start crying. It's funny thinking back, but at the time it was like, this is serious, okay? I did almost start crying during the Jonathan Scales Orchestra set. I don't know why. I think the music was just so powerful, and I'm just so psychically sensitive. I just feel things so deeply that I almost started crying. I didn't form any tears, but I felt it. I felt it right here, and I was like, yeah, this is music. I just love music. What can I say? And yeah, I almost started crying, but I didn't. That's the important part, is that I didn't. I held it together, because, I mean, I don't know. Listen, I will say, I think I was feeling so strongly because that time that I saw them for the first time, which again was on Juneteenth with Animals as Leaders in New Orleans, on Juneteenth, I think I just said that, but on Juneteenth, that was without a doubt one of the best concerts that I've been to, the best larger shows that I've been to. It was just everything I wanted and more. And also because I think it is, because Animals as Leaders are my goats. Like, yeah. Like, if I ever saw Periphery perform, I think I would cry. Because I almost cried to Era. And I like them, but they're not exactly goat status for me. And I didn't almost start crying during Animals as Leaders, because I feel like I got that out of my system already. Almost crying to the Johnson Scales Orchestra. But if I saw Periphery and they performed, I mean, anything, honestly, I love all of their music, but particularly anything from the Juggernauts, maybe I will cry, especially during Heavy Heart. Maybe I would shed some tears, and, oh my God, my stupid mic stand. I would love for them to tour here in the States. I think they're currently touring in Europe. Let me check. Periphery tour. They are somewhere. They're in, what is this? Oh wait, this hasn't happened yet. But they will be touring in the United States in the summer. Up until like August. So it's like, I don't know, maybe we'll have a few dates, but also the way my PTO is stacking up, I won't say my coins, because my coins, they are stacking, but the way my PTO is stacking up, because I have been taking, honestly, not even that much, if I'm being honest, but I also don't get that much. But the way my PTO is stacking up, it's like, okay, if they did tour somewhere that would require me getting on a plane, because I would buy a plane ticket for Periphery, believe that, would I have the time? And I would just have to pick somewhere that's like on a weekend. But also, yeah, I just have to pick a weekend, basically. So yeah, I would buy the plane ticket for Periphery, and I might end up doing that if they tour at any point this year or any point in the future, because I feel like I've missed far too many opportunities to see Periphery live. All right, the time that I was going to see them live, and I've told this story a couple of times, but I'll tell it again. The time that I was supposed to see them live, it was in Little Rock, Arkansas, and the day previous to me, well, they were touring to support Under Oath. But of course, I would be going to primarily see them. And I can't remember if this is before or after P5 came out. I can't quite remember. I think maybe the singles were out, but the album hadn't come out yet. I can't quite remember. Anyways, the day before the show, a freaking tornado hit Little Rock, and it was like kind of bad. So I was like, oh, should I even go up there? And my mom convinced me to stay home. And guess what? The show still ended up happening. But also another thing to consider is that the Mississippi Delta was also hit pretty bad by this tornado outbreak. So even if I did want to go, I would have to drive through the Delta to get to Little Rock. So who knows if the roads would have even been clear, but still. I'm still a little bit mad about it. All right? And I squandered that opportunity. I think the next tour that they had was like 5 dates, and I couldn't swing it for whatever reason. So it's like, yeah, I just want to see Periphery live at minimum one time before I die. Is that too much to ask for? It would be cool if they came to Jackson. I would say I'm not going to hold my breath for it, but with the bands that we have gotten to come here, I don't know. It's not outside the realm of possibility that Periphery could come to Jackson. You know, if they do like 4 dates in like 4 of the randomest cities, maybe we'll be on that list. But, you know, even if they do like a little hometown show somewhere in the DMV, like whatever, I'll go up there. Anyway, I'm talking about a completely different show. Yeah, and I almost forgot this part. How could I forget this part? So if you'll remember, going back to, I do believe this is literally episode 4. Yes, episode 4 of the podcast called Power Outage Diaries. I talk about, first of all, my power being out for like almost a week or something like that, something crazy like that. During the summer, by the way, in June. Oh my God, it was awful. And then I also talk about seeing animals as leaders on Juneteenth. That's the show that I'm talking about. And I end up, making a short from that episode about the Jonathan Scales Fourchestra. And that ends up making it to Mr. Scales. And not long, well, actually, it was a little while after I made that short. I, am on Instagram, and I was following Jonathan Scales, and I'm scrolling and I see my face and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I didn't post that, because I don't post clips from the pod on Instagram. And it was from him. It was me talking about him. I was like, oh, that was unexpected. But yeah. And then after their set, which was, by the way, if you ever have the opportunity to see the Fourchestra in that configuration with Mr. Scales and Mason Guidry, I think that's how you say his name, on the drums, and Elon JD on the bass, you gotta do it. They came to Hattiesburg a couple months ago. It was a Thursday night, so I didn't go, and I am kind of regretting it, because honestly, there really is nothing like it. There really is nothing like the Jonathan Scales Orchestra. That's all I can say. That's all that really can be said, So it's like, if you have the opportunity to, you must do so. All right. And after their set, he leans over and he's like, hey, I know you from the internet. You made the video. I was like, yeah, I did. And I gave him a fist bump. And that was really cool. I was wondering whether or not he was going to recognize me. I mean, nothing's really all that different about me, except for the fact that I wear glasses now. But yeah, he did. And honestly, that was cool. I'm not going to lie. That was kind of a 10 out of 10 experience. I am not going to tell a fib. That was a pretty dope. I like that a lot. All right. So after them was, of course, my goats, Animals as Leaders. And they did not end up playing anything from Waitlist. I really want to know why they don't, actually. Why doesn't Animals as Leaders perform or play songs from WIGHTLESS? I mean, there's really, there's nothing on the first page of Google about it, you know? And it's really a shame because, again, that is like my favorite album by them. And I would even go far as to say it's better than The Joy of Motion. Well, okay. I'll say I enjoy it more than The Joy of Motion. It's kind of hard for me to rank their music like that, though. You know, I can rank it in my terms of how much I enjoy it, but whether or not it's actually like objectively better, you can't really say that. So it's like, you know, I don't know why that is. And I truly, like, why? You know, it's such a great album. I love it so much. And they just don't perform anything from it. And according to Sellist.fm, which, you know, their data is a little bit incomplete, but apparently they haven't performed any of it in several years. So it's like, you know, what does a girl have to do to be able to see any of 11, I'm excluding the last track from Weightless, on, you know, on live at all, you know? So I don't know why their location is listed as Los Angeles on Bandcamp. I thought they're also from the DMV. Hold on. Animals as ears. Yeah, Wikipedia is listing them as being from DC. So I sort of assumed they were also from the DMV. So I don't know, man. Either way, I did mention last episode in my anticipation to see them that I saw a clip that Jonathan Scales was also did a feature on a song. Well, not did a feature on a song, played a song alongside them. And I was really hoping that they would do that for my show. And they did. Jonathan Scales came out and played the kind of, not the ending part, but the part before the ending part of Gestaltzerfall from Periphery, which, by the way, was like my least favorite song on that album. Like, I kind of skip it every time. For me, it sounds too much like a Shone song. So I don't know. I'm not really super into Shone. It just doesn't click for me. That's really all there is to say about it. But every time I've heard it performed live, I have liked it a lot. So I don't know. Maybe my opinion will be changed about Gestaltzerfall. Has it? Maybe. But it was really cool to see that accompaniment on that song. I really liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. I got video of it. And again, this was one of the most fun shows that I've been to. Just being able, like, I don't think I have smiled bigger or more at a show ever. Like, ever. Like, I don't know why, but I was just up there beaming all 32. That's how good of a time I was having. Smiling with teeth. Okay, which, I mean, I smile with teeth frequently, so it's not new, but I just, like, was enamored by the whole experience. So if you have in your mortal lifetime the opportunity to see Animals as Leaders, you really do need to do it. If for no other reason that, again, this is, like, I feel like a very unique band, you know? And it's just, gosh, it felt like I waited months for the show to happen, and then it happened and it was over in like 2 minutes. Like, that's how it is for me for like these big, highly anticipated concerts. I wait for them for months. I spend hours driving to Louisiana, which, by the way, if you've ever driven to Louisiana from Jackson down I-55, it is the worst drive ever. You get out of the city limits and it's just a whole lot of nothing until you get to Brookhaven, and then it's even more nothing until you get to Macomb. And then, you know, if you're driving to New Orleans, you get some excitement because there's like swamp going on, but, you know, you take the turn to go to Baton Rouge, and actually that one does have a little bit more going on because mostly because there's just traffic. That's really all there is. It's just the traffic. But the drive from Jackson to both New Orleans and Baton Rouge is brutal. It's just brutal. And didn't like it. I will say, this time around, I do hate driving long distances. And yes, we have talked about this ad nauseum, so I won't get into it too much. But for whatever reason, this time it felt almost meditative. Like the drive to and from. So I don't know what that was all about. I almost enjoyed it. I think it's because I have been consuming a decent amount of road trip media, because I saw Trey the Explainer's video about him doing the steel ball run across America. I watched all 3 hours of that in one go. It was great. Fantastic video, by the way. Oh my God. Love Trey the Explainer. I've been watching him since I was in college, which is, yes, it is that long ago. It's next year will be 10 years since I both, graduated from high school and began my freshman year of college. So yes, it has been a while. But what a phenomenal video. But that was one, big road trip story. And then I've been reading Adult Braces by Lindy West, because there's been a lot of discourse surrounding the book. And I am not super far in. I think I'm less than 100 pages in out of 360 something or something like that. And it is also about a road trip, because it's messy. It's really messy. And not only is it messy, it's a memoir. So this is real. This happened to her, It's just, I don't want to give my full review until I'm done with it. But from what I can tell is that I feel like her marriage just does not work, because the whole thing that happened, I feel like it's just a bunch of wrong place, wrong time, or no, just wrong time, wrong timing with her and her husband. Because first of all, Lindy West freaking hates herself. Oh my God. She tries to, convince us, the readers, that she's in this phase of radical self-acceptance, but the self-hatred still bleeds through. I just don't know what else to say about it. Oh my God. From one fat girl to another. Please, I'm begging you. Please do something. Anything other than what you're doing. Because I can feel it. And I don't want to feel it, okay? But anyways, not only does she just really not like herself, I don't think her husband really likes her that much either. Well, okay, time out. I won't say that, but I will say, the whole thing about her taking this road trip, right, is that she feels like she needs some kind of change, because, her marriage is getting kind of weird, because people are seeing her husband out with other people. But, he's poly, but she's not really. And, all of a sudden he's got this new skinny girl that he's with that clearly makes Lindy feel awful about herself. And again, this comes through very clearly in the book. And she's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive across country. I'm going to rent a van. I'm going to do a little van life thing. And this is in 2021. I don't have the book with me. Actually, it's literally across the room. I don't want to go grab it though, because again, my desk situation is in disarray and I don't want to knock one of these cables and make my camera be weird again. But it's kind of poly under duress, but also not really, because the whole thing about it is that they broke up because her husband was like, I don't think I can be monogamous. Speaking of people saying I don't think I can be monogamous, Klay Thompson cheated on Megan Thee Stallion. This girl can't catch a break. Oh my God. Anyways, we're going to go back to the point I was making. He was like, oh, I don't know if I can be monogamous. And then they were breaking up, or in the process of breaking up. And then her dad dies and she's a wreck. And she needs him emotionally. And then they end up getting back together because of that. And it's this was never going to work out. And I feel like she just, again, has this level of self-hatred where she thinks that this is the best thing that she can get. And it's girl, stand up, please. Just because you're big. And let me look up a picture of Lindy West, because, I don't really feel most people are truly just butt ugly. But I'm looking at pictures of Lindy West, and This isn't an ugly woman. I'm just telling you straight up. This isn't just some boot nasty, bottom of the barrel type of lady, okay? She probably has some redeeming qualities about her, that make her a joy to be around. But she's not just, again, boot nasty, bottom of the barrel, right? This is not the best that you can do. What is Lindy short for? I don't know. This is not the best that you can do. You don't have to accept this, because it clearly in the book, which again, I haven't gotten that far, all right? So it might, I don't know, more might unfold, but, and it's so frustrating too, but also at the same time, it's like, I spent money on this book. I bought the hardcover, because again, this book just came out, so there's no paperback. I bought the hardcover, and I paid hardcover prices for it, and it's like, well, now I need to finish it, because I spent money on it, and I don't know if I can return it to Barnes & Noble. Not that I would want to, but also I could have very easily pirated this book. I could look up, hold on, adult races, Lindy West. Actually, I didn't even really need to do all that. I know how to get books for free, but basically, it would have been hard for me to find this book, but I just had to have a physical copy of it, and now I spent money on it, and it's like, well, I can't DNF it, because it's like, I don't know, girl. This book is frustrating, and it's like, I just need some of my sisters in Christ to stand up. Just stand up. Just stand up. Y'all weak in the knees, stand up. Anyway, I was reading that, and the whole sort of framing device for that is a road trip. So I don't know. I've got road trips on the brain, I guess, and making this road trip down to Baton Rouge was slightly less unpleasant than it is usually. Also, I think it's because I did, I have finally learned how to use my cruise control, so that makes things a lot easier. But yeah, that's that, I guess. Speaking of Periphery, which I was talking about them earlier, we won't, actually, because I need to do my ad read. So, I have been to, 2 very big live music events, in the last couple of weeks, and I wouldn't be able to enjoy either of them, even though one of them was outdoors. I still wouldn't be able to enjoy it without my Eargasm earplugs. Use my code JX10 to get 10% off your order on eargasm.com. You have until August. I actually haven't looked at my back end yet to know whether or not, am I still... Yep, I sure am. You got until August, because I have a sneaking suspicion that my code will not be renewed. You got until August to use my code JX10 to get you some earplugs on eargasm.com. Use my code. You get 10% off. Wouldn't that be nice? Also, what are you looking for in life? Do you want someone to almost cry at concerts with? Do you want someone who you won't have to endure poly under duress with? Do you want someone to do poly with? Do you just want a friend? Do you just want someone who can listen to you? Well, closed mouths don't get fed. And by opening your mouth, one of the ways that you can open your mouth is by submitting to my zine, Seeking. Submit your personal. There's been a QR code up on screen this entire time. Maybe you'll find what you're looking for. I currently still have 15 responses, including myself. I just need 5 more. And what I did too, I thought, this will be a great idea. I went on OfficeDepot.com and I printed out some business cards, 50 of them, with the QR code on them to hand out at Couchfest. And guess what? They weren't ready until not even the next day, like days later. And I was supposed to get, same day pickup, which was going to work out so well. Because I ordered them on Friday, because I only got the idea on Friday, because I don't think ahead, clearly. But they weren't ready until days after that. So I had to, yeah, I wasn't able to bring them to Couch Fest where I was going to hand them out to people, which I am just a wee bit mad about. Mostly mad at myself for not having the forethought to think to do it more than a day before. But, I would have been able to pick them up if, the store that I ordered them to had a working business card cutter, but they didn't. So I had to wait until days, literally after I came back from Baton Rouge, to be able to pick them up. That was so lame. I hated it. But either way, those business cards are in the Millsaps Library. So if you're ever at Urban Foxes, and they're there. Anyways, that's it. I don't know why. For the last couple of episodes, I've always thought there's a third thing. There is not a third thing. It's only those two. And soon it won't be those two. Because as soon as I can get 5 more responses, I'll stop bugging you. I just need 5 more. That's it. Just 5 more. Just 5 more responses. And I do ask that you be over the age of 18. That is kind of my only requirement. They be over the age of 18. That's really it. But yeah, that's the on the at. As I was about to bring up, but I did not yet, Periphery put out another single for A Pale White Dot. And I forgot what it's called. Hold on. I'm looking it up. So we had Mr. God, the first single, and then Everyone Dies Alone, which is the second single, which is longer than 3 minutes. It's 4 minutes and 35 seconds long. And I will say I only listened to it a couple of times, but I did enjoy it. And I still can't wait for this album to come out on the 15th, which will be 3 weeks from now. Yeah, not 3 weeks from now. Well, yes, no, it'll be 3 weeks from when this episode comes out. So yeah. Also, I brought this up last episode, but that Eric Andre album comes out the Friday after this comes out on the 1st of May. So I'll be interested to see what that sounds like. I'll definitely be listening to it. But I am ready for new Periphery. Now, another band that I do quite like, that kind of ebbs and flows in my mental list of top bands. I think some of the stuff that they have made has entered GOAT status for me, but I feel like as time goes on, they start drifting farther away from their origins, which makes sense because, there was a lineup change and also a few years, between, their first 2 albums and then their last 2 albums, basically. And there is a pretty big shift. I've talked about this on an episode of the pod. Can't remember which episode. It was a while ago, though. I remember that much. Where I do kind of wonder how, and I haven't even said their name yet, Invent Animate. I kind of wonder how they might have progressed if Ben English hadn't left the band. What their metaphorical third Ben English album would sound like. But they've got a new single out. It's called Fall Like Rain. I don't know if there's a new album coming. I haven't looked for it. Invent Animate new album? Question mark? Well, let me see. That's not it. Well, there's a single. I don't know if there's a new album. And I'm looking at the album art for it. Their single... Well, actually, that's not true. Their single art isn't usually different from their album art. At least not recently. Well, okay. Shade of Stray and Elysium were very different from Heavener. And then Heavener was different from... and also Sleepless Deathbed was different from the deluxe... what do you call it? What? My phone just vibrated. Sorry. The deluxe thingamabob. Oh my god. The deluxe version of Heavener. Jesus Christ. So who knows? This might not be, the cover for the album, but yeah, I listened to that as well. And I will say I did enjoy it, but I will also say that I have been listening to Everchanger and Still World a lot lately. I mean, Everchanger's on the wall, so it means a lot to me. And Still World is also, I only started listening to that, like 2 years ago, but it's also top tier early, not early, I mean, it came out in 2016, but like 2010s era prog metalcore, it's really up there. But their new stuff just doesn't sound like that, and that's fine. It doesn't have to. I would like it if it did, though. But also, if you think about it, there's not, and I mean, I could be wrong. There's a lot of bands doing a lot of things in places that I don't know about. But in my recollection, there's not really a lot of bands making music like that anymore. So it's like, maybe things have just progressed. That's fine. That's legal. They won't arrest you for that. But, yeah, hearing Invent Animate's new stuff has me kind of yearning for their old sound, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, it might grow on me. I feel like it took Heavener a little bit to grow on me. So, it might. And also, it took Greyview a little bit to grow on me. But I listened to that so much. Like, that album came out, I want to say, right around COVID. And I listened to that so very much during that time. So it is mildly nostalgic for that reason. So yeah. But another big piece of news in Aaron World, I'm gonna have to go off camera slightly to get this, is I ended up coming unplugged anyways. Oh shoot. Okay. I got my synth back. Here she is. My Korg Minilogue is back in my possession. She is nice and fixed. She is fully functional. And she is, of course, a girl, because I said so. I'm just going to put this back on the stand. By the way, I got this rolling printer cart from my job, like, I don't know, months ago. I haven't found a use for it, but it's literally the perfect size for my synth to go on. So I've just rolled it out of my living room and into my office, and that's where it sits for now. But I mean, I probably should. Well, I mean, should I get like an actual keyboard stand for my Minilogue? I mean, it's literally this big. So like, I would have to get a pretty small stand and also like get something to put on top of the stand. So I don't even know if I want to do that. I think I'm better off getting like a TV tray, which is pretty much what I plan on doing, because this rolling printer cart kind of does take up a lot of space, and I'm like almost trapped in here. Thankfully it rolls, otherwise I would legit be trapped in here. Let me put this back. But yes, I got my synth back this Thursday, I want to say. Yes, from Chris/Gravemember, who fixed it up for me for free in exchange for me doing that article, which, by the way, if you haven't read it, you should read it. I spent a lot of work on it. Spent a lot of time. Worked real hard. And yeah, it's back. And also, the thing that needs to be fixed. So one of the keys is the G key. Low G key, the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, the fifth key from the left on the low end of the keyboard. That was the one that wasn't functioning. And I was sort of under the impression, and I mean, I've never worked on a PCB before. That's what they're called, right? Hold on. PCB. Yeah, printed circuit board. I've never worked on one of those before. So, like, I'd have no way of knowing, but I was under the assumption that maybe it could just be cleaned up a little bit. No, the whole board had to be replaced. Now, thankfully he was able to do that, find a board to replace it, because, I mean, this is a 10-year-old instrument, I mean, you can still get a new one, and you can find replacement parts for it, because I was kind of wondering, like, okay, how much would that have cost? Because, it was free. I was like, how much would that have cost if I, And so I don't think I found like the exact board, because also I wasn't looking too hard. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'll Google stuff, and if I don't see the answer immediately, I'm like, whatever. I didn't want to know that bad. Just kind of weird about me. But so there's two main. I'm gonna have to get it again. There's two main boards for the Minilogue. You have the keyboard, circuit board that controls the keyboard circuits, and then you have the main. Okay, this is like really awkward to hold. You have. Also, I'm trying not to move these knobs because I found a patch that I really like, and I did save it, but I didn't want to tweak it too much. And then you have. Hold on. You have the knobs, and that has its own board. So what he ended up replacing was the keyboard board. So yeah, that was what needed to be done to it, and I got it back on Thursday, and I've been so excited. And one of the things that I asked, because after I spent time in a studio, I was like, God, I want to do this. I want to make silly little recordings of my music. And I was like, how do I do that? Because I looked it up, and again, I just lack patience these days. I mean, I don't know. I just lacked patience. I was like, okay, how can I connect my synth to my computer? Because the only way that I was really able to do it before was that I connected my synth to my amp, and then I connected my amp to my computer, which worked, but was like really tedious. And also I had to drag my amp in here. And I was like, oh, I don't want to keep my amp in here. I want to keep it in my living room next to my guitar. So I was like, well, there's got to be an easier way, like a more straightforward way for me to do that doesn't involve my guitar amp, which I guess technically not even supposed to be using with my synth. And so I saw that you need to have an audio interface. So like you can't just like plug her in there. I mean, you can, because this is an analog synth, meaning that, the synthiness is through hardware and not software, but you can also use it as a MIDI controller. So it's a mess of cables down here. I have a printer cable, which is pretty much what it is from my printer. And I can use that, connect that to my computer, and it could be a MIDI controller that way. But I wanna do synth things. Otherwise, it's just a glorified MIDI controller, And so what Chris ended up telling me is that my audio recorder, which is this bad gal right here, actually works as an audio interface. So I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm going to have to find some way to hook up my synth to this, which I thought only had XLR inputs, because as you can see, this is my cable for this microphone. It's an XLR cable. I was about to unplug it to show you, but then I was going to be like, why would I do that? I would literally mute myself. There's no point. But apparently, and I guess I just never looked too hard, but you can plug an instrument cable into this. Like, hold on. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess of cables. There's so many cables. Do I even really need to demonstrate this? No, but I'm going to, because I feel like it. Also, this instrument cable that I have is so freaking long. Okay. This bad boy, that you might put into an instrument, a guitar, it can also go in here. I'm not going to plug it in because I don't know if that's going to like interrupt anything with my recording, which, I mean, you can only do one setting at a time on this recorder. You can only do like mic or line. You can't really do both at the same time. And I have it on mic plus phantom right now because, my microphone isn't powered. But you can plug it in here. And it's like, I didn't even know that. And so I went home and I plugged it in, and I was like, well, how do you do? And so what I have ended up doing is I'm using my recorder as an audio interface, which, again, I sort of didn't know I could do that. And so I got my synth from instrument cable into here, into my computer with the USB that's on the side here. And it just works. Now, I will say, for whatever reason, honestly, I think it's just because of the patch that I'm using. It's not like the volume isn't high because of the settings or whatever, because I have the master volume like all the way up, and then I have to like put the input volume like all the way up on my recorder. But I got it to work, and I got it to work with audio input and with MIDI, so that's fun. And I've just been kind of messing around with it here and there for a couple of days, and I made a short little thing that I really like, but I think I need to redo it because like I did it yesterday. Yeah, because yesterday was Friday. I did it yesterday. But also I used to have like the notes written down on the keys here because like I don't know how to play a piano, and I wanted to know which notes were which. So I wrote them on with what do you call it? Not Sharpie, not permanent marker, dry erase marker, and I just had them on there. But he wiped them off. So I need to go back and put them back on there so that I can actually know what the heck I'm playing. Like I can identify the sound and like the general area of the keyboard in which I press the keys, but it would be nice to know exactly what I'm pressing. So I tried to go back today and like add on some stuff to what I had recorded, but I just could not figure out what I did last night. So it's like, oh, well, now I'm lost. So yeah, I got my synth back, and I'm really happy about that. Yippee. So, oh goodness. To round out the episode, let's talk about some upcoming shows. Now, I think I might have missed a couple. I don't know why. I think I might have. I'm not entirely sure. Also, a couple of these, well, one, especially this one that I'm about to talk about, has kind of already happened. And also will already have happened by the time this episode has happened. But new band on the block, new band alert, Wretched, and Skinny Brag. I guess church shows are back because they had a show at Northside Baptist Church in Clinton yesterday night, and I saw the videos and it looked like a decent amount of people went. So I thought that was cool. We're doing the 2010s again, the 2000s again. We're having hardcore shows in churches again. Honestly, that'll be kind of cool if that comes back. This hasn't been scheduled yet, but someone, and I can't remember who it was, but someone did tell me that they wanted to put on a show at the Unitarian Universalist Church here, which I feel like would be probably more open to that. I only sort of have a like tenuous grasp on what Unitarian Universalism is. It's not Christianity, but yeah, it's not. It's not one of the big three or offshooted. It's not Abrahamic in nature, I don't think. I really only have like the tiniest of grasp on what it is, and I feel like if there is a religion for breakfast video on it, I would like to watch it because I would like to understand what it is. Anyways, there's Unitarian Universalist Church here. There might be a show at a Unitarian Universalist Church here. I don't know. It would be really cool if it was. And so, coming up, and of course, this will have happened already by the time this comes out, but, you know, the reason that I'm recording this on Saturday instead of Sunday, is that we have Envision, Goodnight Morning, Encircled Throne, and Stupid. Actually, I think this lineup has changed a little bit. It has, because now it's Storage 24, still Envision, still Encircled Throne, yeah. I think those are the only changes. I don't think Stupid is on this anymore. I think Goodnight Morning might still be on this. I'm actually gonna look it up because now I want to know. Let me see. Bloop. And this is, of course, in their lead up to Welcome to Rockville. Let me find it. I don't know if they actually have the updated flyer posted because I sure can't find it. Also, they're just posting a lot. No. Maybe. Hold on. I'm finding it. Here we go. Okay. Yes, it's Storage 24, which is now I guess technically headlining. Because now it's Storage 24 with special guests envisioned Encircle Throne and Goodnight Morning, which this is going to be their first show. Which, who's Goodnight Morning? Do I know them? Do I know these people? Yesn't. I mean, they're new. But, who's in this band? I don't know. I don't know if I know any of these people. No, I don't. Okay. Well, either way, this is going to be their first show. I think. No. Maybe? When is this? Oh, this is coming up soon. Well, okay, no, this is going to be after that. This is a different show, which I guess I need to put on my calendar. Goodnight Morning, Too Darn Loud, Rosehaven Motor Hotel at the Annabelle Music, May 23rd. So that's coming up. So yes, this is their first show. But anyways, Storage 24, Envision, Encircle Throne, and Goodnight Morning at the Patton House on tomorrow. As well as DJ Jane Blank, Parrot Weather, Sad Bath, and the Hobnobs, who I think are from the Netherlands. Hold on. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Why can't I find it? Hold on. Oh my god. L-I. There. I can't spell. Jesus. H. Okay. No, that's not it. Hold on. No. Yes? No, that's not it. This is different. Yes. DJ Jane Blank, Parrot Weather, and Sad Bath, and the Hobnobs from somewhere in Europe. I can't remember, all right. I want to say the Netherlands, but I don't know. All right. God, get off my back. Okay. And then on the 2nd, we have Muddy River Madness Festival at the BB Club in Vicksburg. Now, I didn't mention this because I kind of forgot. But I was planning on going to Memphis. This would have been on the 30th. And part of me still really wants to go, but part of me really doesn't want to drive 3 hours to Memphis. Well, okay, it's not 3 hours. I don't want to drive to Memphis, and I don't want to spend money on a hotel. And even though it is Danza, it's like literally the next weekend, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling, and it will probably be very, very stressful. So it's like, okay, maybe I just need to make this easy on myself and like cut one of my trips out. And it ended up being the Danza trip. And I don't feel too bad about it because I feel like there is a decent chance that Danza could come to Jackson at some point in the future. Like, I feel like it could happen, you know? So that's why I canceled. I just didn't feel like driving or spending money. That's really it. That's really all there is to it. I do really want to see Danza. My desire to not stress myself out trumps me wanting to go to Memphis to see the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. So yeah, but I am holding out hope that they will come to Jackson at some point in the future. And they might, to be completely honest. But anyways, what would have come after that would have been the Muddy River Madness Festival. I mean, it's still happening. That's going to be in Vicksburg. Not Jackson, it's Vicksburg, but, you know, same thing. A lot of crossover, a lot of regional bands as well. And then we have Nowhere Squares, Raven Weather, and Mostly Satire. Jesus Christ. At the Involve Music. That's the May 2nd at 7 o'clock at the End of All Music. And then, man, we have a lot of days where there's like more than one show. That's interesting. On the 3rd, that's literally the next day. Goodness. Okay. We have Claymore, Face Rot, Numg, and Wretched. That is that matinee show. Yeah. And then where is it? It's at Vibe Studio, and it's at 3:00. And then at 7, I think it's at 6 or I have 6 on my calendar, but I'm pretty sure it's at 7. But I don't know if it's like a doors at 7 or a show at 7. I'm not really sure. We have Throne, Mugshot, Vomit Forth, and Your Spirit Dies. Also, I forgot to mention, I got a guitar pick from Animals as Leaders. I mean, it was their like stage guitar tech that was handing them out. But I still got one, so it's like, it's in my wallet now with all the other ones, including my Mugshot guitar pick and the one that I got from The Devil Wears Prada on my birthday 3 years ago. Still have that one too. It's a regular yellow Dunlop pick, but it is very special to me. And then on the 13th, actually, I think there's something before that, but the next thing that I have is on the 13th. We have Sam Vega, Dad Hats, 306, Hush Puppy, and Popper. That's going to be at Urban Foxes at 6 o'clock on the 13th of May. And then on the 16th, we got Dead Sugar, the Akashic 45s, and Bass Jump at Howlin' Mouse on 7 o'clock on the 16th. That is a Saturday. And then the 26th, that's a Tuesday. We got Amber Lynn, Anne-Marie, and Watashi Wa. That's at 7 o'clock. And then on the 6th of June, we've got Charcoal, Cookie Woo, and Blue Window. That's going to be at Howlin' Mouse, and that's going to be at 7 o'clock. And then at July 7th, we have Frontal Assault, Yotuma, Ants on Acid, and Plague Burner. There is another one. August 2nd, we have Grave Huffer, Plague Burner, and Die with Nature. I think there's another one that's in like July or August or something. But again, I know I'm missing a few of these. So I don't think my calendar is as up to date as it could be. But that's what I got. I mean, we're getting really close to September, but something that I've been thinking about doing, because, I was planning out all of my PTO and my coinage. Well, I mean, you can't really plan out your coinage for the year, but you can plan out your PTO. And I was planning out my PTO for the year, and I was like, man, I don't think I can take another trip for my birthday. And I kind of thought about doing this last year, but I didn't because I was planning on going somewhere. And this is open-ended, but I'm wondering, how corny would it be to throw myself a birthday show? Open-ended question. Anyway, speaking of open-ended, I didn't put this on the list, but I thought I would talk about it because I have never gotten such a big response to anything I've put on the Instagram, ever. So, yeah. But, couple days ago, well, not a couple days ago, it's more than a couple days ago, earlier this week, as of me recording this, I posted on the Instagram that, man, there's so many booking collectives popping up, because I feel like in the past few months there's been 3 or 4 that I've seen, booking pages, booking collectives specifically for the city of Jackson come up, and it's like, man, where are all the bands? We need some more bands. And I said, I'm going to need some of y'all to hop on Facebook Marketplace and purchase an instrument because we don't have enough bands. And I will say there are bands popping up, which is great. The ones that are popping up, they're getting a few shows here and there. And, we got all these booking collectives that are booking. We're going to need some local support for all these shows that are about to be booked. Like, start making music. Chop to it. Chop to it, hop to it. I don't know why I said chop to it. Hop to it. And a lot of people, it just resonated with a lot of people, I guess. So I'm not the only person who thinks this. I think, not just me, I'm just the mouthpiece of the public, okay? Everybody, apparently, is of the agreement that there should be more bands here. And so I am telling you watching, if you're already in a band, you're exempt. You don't have to be in more than one. And I do know there are a lot of people in Jackson that are in more than one band. But you are exempt from this. So you're marked safe from being told to be in a band if you're already in one. But yeah. And listen, am I gonna start a band? No. Am I gonna make music? Perhaps. I've already recorded like a 30-second snippet of something that I think kind of sounds okay. So it's like, apparently we need drummers. There's a drummer shortage. And listen, fun fact about me, I did really want to know how to play the drums growing up. Like, starting in probably middle school, I really wanted to know how to play the drums. But I was kind of in a dilemma when I was a kid, in that I had the space to put drums at my parents' house. Like, we could have put it in the garage. We had more than one shed that they could have gone in, that I could have practiced in. But I didn't have the money because I was a child without a job. And I, of course, asked my parents, and they, of course, said no. So my drumming dreams were quelled for quite some time. But now I have the opposite situation. I have the money. Like, if I was really diligent, which I mean, I already have money set aside automatically for my paychecks, but if I, actually left it alone, and like saved up for like 4 paychecks, I could afford a halfway decent drum kit. But it's like, where in the heck am I? Well, okay, it's not even where am I going to put it. I have space in my office. If I really wanted to put a drum kit in here, I could put it in here, okay? It would be, I mean, most of my office is empty, by the way. You can't really tell because you're facing the wall. You're watching me facing the wall. But there's like pretty much the entire other half of this room is just like empty space. And like what I kind of said, and of course this hasn't happened, but if I ever got a new bed, I would make my old bed into a day bed and put that in here. Or if I got a new couch, I would take my old futon and put that in here. Neither of those things have happened. So, but either way, the space is open for me to put a drum kit in here. But I sort of have the thing where I live in an apartment next to other people. And the walls are not like thin. I don't know. It's kind of weird because my neighbors are kind of just a concept because I hardly ever see them. I mean, I'm never just like outside. I mean, okay, I'm lying. I do see them sometimes, but I hardly ever hear anyone above me, to the point where it's like, I don't even know if anyone lives above me. And of course I know the person that lives next to me is there because I see them more than I see any of my other neighbors, actually. But even still, I share a wall. I shared several walls with other people. So it's like, I don't want to get a noise complaint. And it's like, okay, could I, noise proof the heck out of this place? Maybe. But I don't think it's going to be enough. And also, I already have 2 instruments that I only kind of know how to play. And I feel like if I were to add a third to that arsenal, one of these has to go. I either have to get rid of my synth or I have to get rid of my guitar. And that feels unconscionable to me. I will not be doing that. Like, no. I love my guitar that I only kind of know how to play. And I love my synth that I only kind of know how to play. And I'm going to be keeping both of those. And honestly, that is kind of an arbitrary rule that I made up for myself. But I didn't want to have an entire band's worth of instruments that I only kind of know how to play. So it's like, I feel like I should lock in on something, maybe, I don't know. But all that to say is that I do want to learn how to play the drums. It's just, I have the money. I don't have a space for them. And I mean, you could probably like rent out a practice space, but I don't have money for that either. I mean, I could save up the money to buy a drum kit, but having a set amount, like, I don't know how much it would really cost. To be completely honest, like $100, $150, I can't really set that aside every month to have a practice space that who knows how often I'm going to use it. Because I have gone a couple months without touching my guitar. And, that would probably be a waste of money for me if I had to resort to a practice. Or maybe, I don't know, it would force me to use it because I'm spending money on it. I don't know. I am forcing myself to read a book because I spent money on it. Maybe I will force myself to learn the drums because I'm spending money on a practice space. But, we're in a bit of a drummer drought, and nobody can find a drummer, which, drum machine, question mark? I feel like maybe you could do that. Get the old MacBook until you can find a drummer, start programming some drums. I don't know. You have options if you don't have a drummer that can perform with you live. But, yeah. We need more bands. Not saying we need less booking pages. I mean, I feel kind of ambivalent about them. Not strongly either way, truly. Do not feel any amount of emotions either way about the number of booking pages. I just thought it was kind of funny. That was it. That's why I posted that. And some people perhaps agreed with me about maybe not the funniness, but about the fact that we need more bands to open for all of these shows that are about to happen. Unless some of these booking pages are just going to be booking locals, which again, I wouldn't have an issue with, but then we need locals for that. So, I mean, I don't know how this would look. I don't know if I would do anything like this, because again, I don't really have any projects where I could do something like that, but start booking shows just so that you can perform at them. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it's late. It's almost 9:00. And that's honestly gonna be it for me for this episode. I said this is gonna be a long one. It's not. It's a normal sized episode. Every time I say that, it's a normal sized episode. And every time I say I don't have anything to talk about, it's 2.5 hours long. I'm like reverse psychologying myself. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. This has been the Running My Mouth podcast. I've been your host, Erin. Thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. Or what? This has been the 70th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. I've been your host, Erin. Thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. Follow me on Instagram. Because if you're not following me on Instagram, I hate to say it, you're only getting half the story. And that's not good. You want to get the full story. Use code JX10 to get 10% off on eargasm.com. What are you seeking? What are you looking for? You might be able to find it. Scan the QR code that is on your screen right now to submit to my zine Seeking so I can get this thing made and stop begging for you all to submit to it. Doesn't have to be romantic. Doesn't have to be sexual. It can be friends. You can just be looking for friends, for pals. We're in a friend shortage. We're in a band shortage. We're also in a friend shortage. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever consider that? Did you ever consider that part? Anyway. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna head out.